Mm-hmm.
Maybe can I just, there's something that you said in there, I think that was really beautiful. And then also Coral has a question I'd like to ask in a second, but I think there's an interesting dynamic between the urban and the jungle. And the idea oftentimes is that the urban has all this information that's really heavy. But if, you know, when I go outside here at 3 a.m., it's like 10 times quieter than what it's like in the jungle with all the crickets and the things and the frogs and everything. It's like really, really loud. And so it's almost like there's a language that we just don't understand, because there's a language, but we're not getting it. It's like confusing, right? But that sometimes jungle couldn't even be more information. So your idea that, you know, indigenous knowledge is information of nature, you know, what are we not getting? How do we really listen to that tree that's stuck on the sidewalk in this big, you know, city, and all these other noises that are still, I guess if animism is, you know, everything's alive, that's also something, but maybe lineage or ancestrally, we just don't know this technology language. And so we obviously tap better into this nature language. And so we maybe get that. So maybe that's hidden in the city. And so that's where also the confusion is actually less information in the city to some degree than there is in the jungle, because of all of the liveness and all of the conversations that are happening and that type of thing. So I just want to throw that out there in terms of something that I was thinking about while you were talking. And then also Coral had a question, which was asking if you can take us on a journey to connect to the plants or to nature through any songs. Can we meet the plants just by intention, or you know, like do we need to have an experience with them? And then how do we build connections? As I was saying even there just a second ago with the urban, how do we build connections with plants in the areas that we're in? You know, something that maybe doesn't have a long tradition with it, but it still is a, you know, a power plant or a sacred plant or a healing plant or something of that nature, but that's locally growing. How do we make those connections?
Well, let me share some reflections about your last sentences. You know, I do believe that all of us, we have indigenous roots. You have your own ancestry. Far away, of course. Maybe Norway,
Finland.
maybe Denmark, you know, but you have these roots, the indigenous roots. So I would say that it doesn't matter if your ancestors, you know, crossed the ocean and discover or decided to settle in America. You still carry that roots. The thing is, and I mean for all of us, I mean for me less, you know, but I'm saying in general, we are totally distracted with hundreds of, I don't know, insanity that human history put in us. One of them, in my personal opinion, without offense, without offend you, is religion. And by the way, dear friends, medicinal plants are no religion. It's a philosophy. It's a philosophy. It's a particular way of walking. So religion still now creates tons of insane attitude and behaviors inside of our minds that, you know, cut our roots. Same with indigenous people here in the Amazon jungle. Evangelica said in 1950, oh, if you practice your shamanism, el diablo te lleva. Do you understand my expression? El diablo te lleva. What is it? What is, I don't know how can I use demons, devil. The devil will take you, will take your soul. The devil will tell you, no practice, no practiques. Eso es demonio, demoniac. So religion is really bad and creates all kind of sort of layers in between that, you know, blind us. And we tend to lose our identity. We tend to lose that connection with our roots, consciously or unconsciously. Divorce, cut, creates this enormous difference in between. And in the middle is totally empty. How we can walk, you know, in the middle of the emptiness? Impossible. Tons of, you know, enfermedades, sickness, you know, it's just damages, it's traumas, emptiness. How we can talk and say, oh, keep your center, go, keep going, keep your center, if your center is empty? Because your roots almost disappear. Because the religion is bombarding you the whole time. Insanity. So we need to relearn the connection with our roots. Even that you are not in Denmark or Germany or Norway anymore, it doesn't matter. Just invoke the deep roots that we all carry as a human beings. And then, even that if you live in the middle of Oakland or San Francisco or New York, you have tons of trees in these incredible, you know, big parks. And many of them are old spirits, old language, old knowledge. Why don't you go and touch one of them and stay there, touching their barks, their skin, I would say their skin, the skin of the trees, touching them, and see and sense the vibration in every single finger that pass to you, even the 10 fingers. Every single finger receive a proper information. But please, tune with that. It's just not destructive with all of these sirens and talks and technology. No, it's just at least 2 minutes. To perceive the frequency of trees' energy. Just 2 minutes. Or go to the ocean, go out to the ocean. And just feel the sensation of the water and the vibration of the water. And stay there another 2 minutes. I mean, I believe that that is a real connection with my indigenous roots. We can do that. And then when we have the wonderful opportunity to take master plants from our Native American relatives in the north, from Amazonian people in the south, from the beautiful people in Central America. So that is a beautiful gift that we receive later. But daily, we can touch them, but be aware of the vibration, the energy of the trees. just release very important information. The sounds of the birds also release very important information. Be aware of where I touch and walk, not only because there is some piece of, doggy shed on the floor. It's just, no, it's just be connected with the vibration of the soil. That means your connection with your indigenous roots. You can do that. I mean, of course, sitting with master plants is a big step, of course. We can do, twice a while, or maybe 3 times per year. A deep, real connection for 10 days. And then practice in between, That practice in between means you're being connected to your indigenous roots. It doesn't matter if you live in the urban areas. You can have, a particular moment where you be silent and be by yourself, even if you live in community. It doesn't matter. You will have 2-3 minutes by yourself. You decide, you choose what time in the day or in the night, or even go outside and listen the frequency of the night. So that means my connection to my indigenous roots. Are you following me?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So, and the other important thing, dear Larry, is when we take medicine, not because it's bad, it's a bad behavior. I feel shame if I trying to judge you. No. I did before when I was young. No, it's just this tough Indian, woman say, no, you do bad. No, it's just, I am an elder now. So I would say, when you decided to go and sit with master plants, peyote medicine, mushrooms, ayahuasca, toé, iboga, the master plants, I would say that we all need to have and set up an intention. It is very important. We were talking about respecting each other at the beginning of our conversation. It is very important to respect each other, not only among humans, if not among plants, animals, humans, rocks, water, mountains, trees. It's just like the elders say, ask their permission. Ask their permission that you will sit and take them. Talk to them and say, oh, abuelo, abuela, grandmama, grandfather, please, I'm here humbling, asking your permission to take you and take you in me. And I have this deep intention in order to connect with you. But not only in terms of your business days, your business approach of what's going on. I don't think so. I think that is not the right place and the right word that I would say, oh, I have my intention. I mean, for us, an intention is where I am right now. Where do I need? What do I need in order to set up my intention? How I can feel, what I am doing. It's just to synchronize, again, you know, to synchronize, to create this synchronicity, to perceive the vibration of the energy of everything, to get connected with this frequency of master plants that creates a sort of open mind connected to the universe. If we don't create a real intention, you will lose tons of information in your connection to the universe, because we tend to be distracted. Oh, at what time I will see the psychedelic images? At what time I will see the colorful snakes? At what time she will talk to me? Oh, okay, so I have to stay there and just breathe. But it's still very connected, very, very tuned with my mind. So forget it. They go away. I said, no. She's not ready. He's not ready. And certainly, dear friends, because I have that practice with medicinal plants, with master plants, I would say that in my experience, as well as with my elders, many people who come from, you know, urban societies, it doesn't matter if it is the US or France or Spain or Lima, Peru, or Santiago de Chile or Buenos Aires, they have to do some kind of efforts at the beginning. Because they said, Eda, it's really difficult to shut down my mind, to disconnect, to slow down my mind. It's just my mind creates tons of expectation of this particular experience in a way that this expectation can take me to a place where I start to feel, you know, some kind of anguish and tension and neurotic things. I mean, fears, you know, that is my interpretation is just fears, you know, it's just like, what's going on here? Because our mind is constantly forcing us to work, to think, to do in a way that is the best way to do it. But with plants, we need to train a little bit before, in advance, in order to sit with them. It's not because, oh, okay, Eda told me that I have my own indigenous roots, so now I will apply to talk to them because I also have my indigenous roots. So it's like, okay, Mother Ayahuasca, come here. So I want to talk to you. So what is your point? And blah, 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 blah. But it's very logic, you know, it's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just, that is the reason that people who took, you know, ayahuasca medicine and plant medicine in general with us in the Amazon, we have the purga, la purga, because la purga release part of this huge tension, stress, anguish, fears, sadness, and some sort of abandon. And because when la purga, you know, help us to release and clean everything inside, physically speaking, and also emotionally speaking, and elevate us in a way that the spirits is over here right now in order to get ready to connect with the spirits of the plants, they and we tend to be more tuned with the same vibration, with the same frequency. And when we sit tonight, we can feel the vibration of the frogs around. We can approach and understand the sounds of the bats when they come up and just be over our heads. We can connect with the sense of the silence in the middle of the jungle. And we can distinguish all sorts of different melodies that goes and plays like a symphony, the orchestra of the spirits of the jungle, beautiful. So it's indigenous knowledge, the language of Mother Nature is vast, huge, universal. And we approach little by little, a tiny approach, but constantly. It's very important to keep ourselves constant, keep going, galloping, softly, without, this kind of pushing us in order to create another type of neurosis, Yeah, well, so I need to stop a little bit because the indigenous knowledge is so vast that I can navigate, but sometimes I can feel a sort of, where I am now. It's, yeah.
Thank you. Larry, anybody more? Any more questions in the?
I know that Coral asked a few nice little questions, and I think they're kind of wrapped into that. But is there anything? I'm going to unmute you, Coral, if you want to share any of that or expand on anything that you wanted. You have to unmute, I think.
I mean, me?
That's perfect. You answered all of my questions.
Oh,
I just want to hear you sing as well because I miss your singing.
Okay, so song request for sure. And also we have another one from Tibet. If you want to go ahead, I'm going to unmute you there.
Thank you. Hi, Eda. Wonderful to see
you. Yes.
Thank you so much for all of your wisdom and love, as always. I guess I'm curious because I guess you've spoken a lot to kind of the ways in which we can and need to be pausing and listening to Mother Nature and sort of working on our own discernment of what to do. But I'm also curious to hear a little bit more from you as you've been in your own process of figuring out how to respond to this moment of global intensity. What has Mother Earth been telling you? I mean, I think you've shared some about, okay, this is a time to pause and for all of us to reflect and become more conscious of what is needed. But I guess, yeah, I'm just curious to hear more of what has come through you of like, how do we respond to this moment of global intensity with the pandemic, with climate change, with everything that's going on around the world?
Yeah. Wow, my Tibet, it's just you are a wonderful boy. It's just, you are so talented and very sensitive. I love you. And thank you for your question. I mean, it's a very important question, dear friends. May I respond to him or to you in general to share? Remember all of these different episodes that I had already with the dogs, with walking up in the mountain with Mother Nature and be, in the darkness, and then sometimes very destructive and sometimes very aware, sometimes very present, and then stay there in the river for a while, in order to get the information, in order to absorb and discern, from my intellectual perspective and my spiritual sense of life. You know what, Tibet and dear friends, it's a great question, you know, because I would like to share, you know, one of my best experiences with my contemplation and being with Mother Nature at 5 a.m. And it happened 2 times, you know. It is very interesting, your question, Tibet, because I experience in myself that kind of distraction. I mean, another type of distraction, but it's still distraction. When I was so friendly and dogs adopted me and they didn't bark anymore and they, you know, give me the freedom to walk up and say hello and then walk in silence. At the beginning of the pandemic, you know, I mean, this is around probably in Peru at least, at the end of April, which was quite intense, you know, still it is. This couple times, I spent 2 hours, you know, sitting on one of the, how do you say, the banks of the river, you know. And there was, you know, a beautiful stone, because every time I am very, very good observer in terms of where I feel, you know, kind of, you know, like a feeling good in terms to choose that rock or that other rock and be there, you know. It's just like again, perceive the sensation and the connection with the rock, with the stone. And because we believe that some of these stones are all spirits too, and have a particular energy in it. So, okay, so I just sat on there, I sit with this beautiful rock and just, you know, seeing all of these incredible scene, scenario, stage of Mother Nature, you know, with this wonderful multi-green plants hanging out and hanging down, and then the trees majestic going up and just receive the first light of the sun, and then the harmony of the sounds of the river, you know, going down from the mountains, and then the chirps of some birds and the chirps of other birds, and then the silent flight of the first butterflies around, you know, beautiful colors, you know, beautiful colors. And nobody there around there, you know, it's just one of my wild dogs and myself. Even the dog, I say, okay, live there because I want to be alone. I want to be by myself. And dear Tibetan friends, you know, I spend at least 2 hours in that kind of contemplation, which was wonderful. Great, you know, because I could sense, you know, the sound of this bird and the energy of this butterfly and this other beautiful, colorful insect, and then the monkey over my head, you know, on the tree, and this beautiful melody and frequency of the river going down, and just be like a, I don't know, a state of I don't know if this is correct in English, but a sort of a state of excitement. I mean, an spiritual excitement. It's not related to body or sex. No, not at all. It's just a spiritual excitement. It's just, I was so excited to have these tons of melodies and sounds and forms and colors, and I was almost in ecstasy for all of these 2 hours. I was almost in ecstasy. And nobody was there because it was very early. And plus, you know, indigenous people for the pandemic decided to stay, you know, up in the mountains and not coming down to the town. So 2 hours until the sun, you know, was quite clear and lightening me and say, okay, Eda, it's time to go back. And I did twice. And I stayed there like, oh, okay, so this is so good to feel this sensation of being in contemplation and having this ecstasy, you know, like fulfilling my soul, my body, my heart, like empty my intellectual mind and just be empty and stay there, you know, in this very special and beautiful state of mind and spirit. I said, oh, I like this sensation. You know, when I went back to my cabin, I said, oh, I like this sensation. I would love to repeat, you know, next day, next morning. So again, 5 a.m. and with my light in my head and just going out and up. And again, I sit in the same rock. And I started, you know, to have the same vibration, the same frequency, the same sort of ecstasy with all of these sounds that plays like an orchestra and fulfilling myself and involving myself and be totally engaged and like in communion with Mother Nature and say, oh, this is so good. I wish I will stay forever here in this state of mind and soul. Oh my goodness, this is so good. And I stay there for another 2 hours. And when I went back to my cabin the second day, I normally when the day was down and the dark comes up, I love to sit, you know, out of my cabin in front of the beautiful wild garden and see and experience, you know, the sensation of the light coming, you know, dark, and stay there for a while. Every day I did the same. But this particular night, I sensed some sort of a deep question, my dear friends. And that question, dear Tibet, was, do I distract myself with this dimension of Mother Nature? Do I want to be distracted by this amazing dimension of Mother Nature and her sounds? Do I want to be distracted by that because that sensation in my spirit makes me feel free, without any pain, without any issue, without any responsibility of what's going on with the pandemic? Because I was not this kind of human being that destroy Mother Nature, so that is not my issue because I adore you, I honor you, I serve you, so I want to stay with you in this kind of state of mind and spirit. And And at that particular night, I realized that that was a kind of escape, because I felt totally protected by Mother Nature to stay there, up in the mountains, close to the river, and receive all of this fresh sensation, and only waiting for the next morning to feel the same, and so on. And I said, oh, okay, so pay attention, Eda. What kind of distraction is this? What kind of intention is this? What is the message? In order, like you said before, Larry, to discern. And I stayed another 2 hours trying to reflect about, think about, and remember in my body the sensation of that moment when I was in ecstasy with Mother Nature. And I said, I am not quite real with my approach with Mother Nature. Because this intellectual mind is so incredible that helps me to create a new illusion. An illusion that is lovely, because I have my forest, I am in the jungle, I have this wonderful time by myself, I am totally free, I expose my freedom, and nobody invades me, and nobody, is taking me to any place because I don't want it. But another illusion. Another illusion. And I can keep that state of mind and spirit and body the rest of my life. And come back to the town and get internet access and talk to you about that wonderful moment of ecstasy that I experienced with Mother Nature. But again, dear friend, how we can discern and filter the information that is proper to you and be present and be active and engage the real situation of human beings, the real situation of yourself in this planet at this time. And dear Tibetan friends, at that moment, at that precise moment, at 7 p.m. the next day, after I start to feel this wonderful excitement of my new fantasy with Mother Nature, I decided to plan and keep going and create the Shawi project. Being present, being active, being connected, committed to Mother Nature. And wow, at that moment, I feel so tremendously grateful in terms of the way that the moon, the night, the spirits of Mother Nature, the spirits of the jungle. How do you say, Benito, when you put gas in your car, like a bump?
Oh, like when you pump gas, pump?
Like a bump, the information of Mother Nature into my spirit, and then clear my mind. And no more illusion. the beauty of that moment, I transform and modeling and put in practice through my beautiful Shawi project that we did wonderfully with my dear, dear, dear friends and young sisters, CJ and Molly. And now with you. So dear Tibet, it's just being present, being active, and engaged with the real situation of you at this particular time, and engage with your community is the answer to the crisis. We can be part of the change, practically speaking. We can change and transform the area where you are. You don't need to march out there. Well, we will, when the conditions will be better. But you can transform and build a real state of mind and spirit just being present and being active. Whatever you decide, just follow, that instinct, that sensation, that motivation that keep you center and move forward. So I felt a tremendous gratitude to Mother Nature and said, oh, Mama, thank you, Chuyachakis. Thank you, Sirenitas. Thank you, frogs, butterflies, bats, insects, rats, stones, trees, to make me realize where I am now, that what I am doing now. Otherwise, I will be in this patitas al aire, on the air, walking on the air, which is an illusion, a fantasy, because nobody can walk on the air, only the spirits. But I have this body, I have these eyes, this humanity that I have to put in service to others like you. So it's an interaction. Plants, trees, birds, spirits, animals, humans, technology, intellectual mind, warm heart, clear spirit. A constant dynamic that we are modeling every single day. Modeling, not creating a new illusion. We are experts to create illusions. We don't need more illusions. We need to face the consequences of our actions. And I feel, and I told dear friends, Niret, Tibet, and other Ian friends, that I feel so sorry for all of this devastation and destruction of Mother Nature that our old human beings and ourselves, including myself, my generation, did, and didn't care about the next generation. And I face that. I assume that. And I will do my best. I do. You know me. I practice. I am a good one. But my intention is not anymore to change the mentality of the world, even local authorities, the government, or my people. They see me. My actions are the best example for them. So can you imagine Tibet is just Eda? Wow, like a 15 with the wonderful butterflies. And then, okay, Tibet, no worries. Mother Nature will change and transform. Okay, yeah, see you later. No, I think, dear friends, I believe that knowledge and wisdom evolve in a way that we evolve too. And at a certain point, it doesn't seem quite clear. It's just because it is very subtle. La sutileza, very subtle, you know, like I cannot see right away. Even with all of this practice, dear friends, 30 years of practicing. It's just, oh, okay, like a little friend, like a little girl, you know, of 8 years old, say, okay, jumping on my bed, wake up and get out, and then just start to walk and hiking and say, oh, this is my really good time of having fun with Mother Nature. And then come back and waiting and expecting to do the same next day. But in between, what? So I'm saying that I was repeating the same behavior. Some kind of emptiness in between. Yeah, honoring Mother Nature, honoring Mother Earth, being service with her, but what is the, how does it, tangible, tangible, thank you, tangible. Yeah. Incredible experience, dear friends. A new lesson for me that now I share with you.
So I just wanna mention, it's a wonderful reflection, Eda, of where is our next, well, not where is our next step, but it's like we have our experiences with nature, in connection with nature, when we feel connected and open with medicine or not. The real work comes when we put all that in practice in the real world. And by that, I mean in the embodied real world, you know, where we have to take action, where we have to create community, be of service. And of course, the main thing is self-care and go inward to get to know ourselves, heal what needs to be healed so that we can be present with our lives and in community and in connection to others. We're close to 1 o'clock. I just wanted to check in with everyone. We can continue a few more minutes if there are, you know, any questions, anything that we wanna say. If you have any more that you wanna share, Eda. But I know that some people are here only until 1. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for being here with us today in this talk. And you are invited to continue a few more minutes if you have the time, you know, and we're gonna stay here a little more, but I just wanted to thank everybody for sharing your Sunday with us, for, you know, like sharing with Eda and hearing her. How do we bring nature inside of us? And how do we not become nature, because we are nature, but how do we present in a world that is in a pandemic, but it's still alive, and anything we do with intention and connection and openness definitely can, you know, bring us closer, definitely can bring us, you know, that thing that, okay, this is my contribution. This is something I want to do to better this world, to better the generations. Because some of us are going to leave sometime. I mean, we never know when, but the next generations, we want them to be more connected and more in action. You know, so I agree. Sometimes I get lost also in that inaction or in just that ecstasy of nature and entheogens and the places that it can take us. But the integration, how do we bring all those experiences into a real life in action? I think that is the real work. So thank you, Eda. And Larry, do you want to?
I think this is really appreciate this. Thank you so much, Eda, for being here. Thank you, Veronica, for setting this up. Thank you, everyone else as well. I think this is such an important conversation right now because we're really tapping into the subtle realms. You know, we're getting inundated with all of this big stuff. These things are important, but we haven't tapped into this stuff. What's the subtle realms? How do we hear these conversations? How do we dialogue? How do we find the way to heal ourselves and heal our community? And I think this is really critical right now and really, really important conversation to have. So thank you very much, Eda. And I really look forward to the series that we're going to be collecting on this and, putting together for this and, meeting other elders and young leaders from your community out there to share and having more conversations like this. Thank you, technology. It's unfortunate that we have to be so far away, but how beautiful it is that we can have these moments to really share together. So I'm really honored to be able to host these for everybody and with Veronica and Eda, and I look forward. If you have any questions, if you need anything, please let me know. Also, keep in mind that the Shall We Project does take donations on the website, and there's also a newsletter button on the bottom. So if you want to go ahead and put your email in for a newsletter, we can, Eda can let you know what's going on with that project as well.
Yeah, please put in the newsletter of the Shall We Project your email address. I would love to keep in touch with you and whatever you want to share, whatever you want to talk, whatever you want to email to me or my elders, I'm totally open. I am in service. So please feel free to connect with us and share whatever you feel. We are not perfect. We try to move into that perfection, but we are not.
Mm-hmm.
And two things, dear friends, it's just integration and community.
Mm-hmm.
Integration and community. It doesn't matter if today I feel a little sad or a little depressed. It doesn't. I will feel better next day because I do my work right away, right now. Why I feel depressed? Why? Just facing right away. And then the waves are more calm and bring back to you the sense of your center. Yes, and very, very lovely to have this beautiful conversation and sharing experiences and knowledge. And I am your sister from the South, an old one, and always open to receive and welcome you. Because if we all trying to do and feel better, we really contribute to Mother Nature to feel much better too. Thank you so much, and thanks to all my dear friends. That it's lovely to see your faces and your expressions of love. And thank you, Cora. It's so good to see you. You look so beautiful, and thank you to everybody. It's just and very nice to meet you online with the new friends, my friends, not my clients. Never I use that word. It's my friends, and so keep connected and be in community, and we will be part of the real transformation.
Absolutely.
And thank you again. And I promise you next time, I will bring, one of my Amazonian Icaros to you.
Mm-hmm.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah. Some people left right now, no? Or if you want to wait a little bit, Larry and Veronica, I can bring my chacapa and sing a little bit.
Let's maybe do that on the next round or whatever, and maybe you could even do, if you want to do in the future, or we could do a full talk just on the songs and maybe showing the different instruments and what you're doing. I think let's unpack everything. That sounds great. I'd love to hear that and just be immersed in it probably won't do as well over the audio, but I think it'll be great to hear and just kind of get that out into the world, Maybe we can zoom artificial intelligence some good things, right?
I would bring my chacapa and then I can share a little song with you.
That would be amazing.
Just a little bit,
Okay, yeah.
Okay? Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Well, looking forward to this series with Eda and elders, and any wisdom, anything that they can share for us. Like I believe that most of us have done definitely some form of plant medicine in different connections with it. But I feel like when we're close to the indigenous people, when we're close to the people that actually carry that lineage, it's just an amazing, because I believe that right now with Eda song, we're all gonna feel that connection and that connection in our bodies of the medicine. So.
Look at that, the flower. Every time we wear a flower inside. Every time. Here, this is the chacapa, la chacapita, that we use in ceremony. And we feel, a special sensation when we are in tune with medicinal plants, because all of this frequency of the leaves takes us, to another dimension of Mother Nature and connected to the universe. You see, I couldn't write back, the wonderful and loving words of people who already left, but please help me, Veronica and Larry, to respond to them. I really thanks to all of you. And thank you for being here. Okay, this is the Icarito. Yeah. Vuela, vuela, soy, soy, vuela, vuela, soy, soy. Vuela, vuela, soy, soy, vuela, vuela, soy, soy, vuela, vuela, soy, soy, vuela, vuela, soy, soy. Vuela, vuela, chacapita, vuela, vuela, chacapita. Vuela, vuela, chacapita, vuela, vuela, chacapita, y vuela, vuela, chacapita, vuela, vuela, chacapita. Vuela, vuela, tunchi, vuela, vuela, tunchi. Vuela, vuela, tunchi, vuela, vuela, tunchi, vuela, vuela, tunchi, vuela, vuela, tunchi. Vuela, vuela, aguilita, y vuela, vuela, aguilita. Vuela, vuela, aguilita, y vuela, vuela, aguilita, y vuela, vuela, aguilita, y vuela, vuela, aguilita. Achiquirinairu, achiquirinairu. Día, día, ajo, día, día, ajo, día, día, ajo, día, día, ajo. Oh, 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 ah, ah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So beautiful, Eda. You transported that subtle energy, all of us, back. Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks to all of you. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Berito. Thank you. Thanks to all my friends and my new ones too. Thank you so much. I would love to see you again, because this is the beginning of the Chacapita.
Okay.
This is the beginning of the Chacapita.
It's going to be a Chacapita series. coming.
Yes, Chacapita series. Sounds lovely.
Right? Oh, gracias,
Yeah.
corazón. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you soon. So keep tuned. We'll be sending information with this Chacapita series coming up here in Erie.